So I already told our listeners that you and I have been talking off screen about some of the traditional roles and responsibilities that we see with men on the dating scene, but not really a conversation around women in regards to finances on the dating scene. So Zakia, can you
Mhm.
give us some insight of what has your story been around being financially stable as a woman in the dating scene? Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode of The Single Season, hosted by me, Alison Wellington, better known as Align with Alison. This week's episode features Zakia, who is struggling with a lot of the conversations that we're having online around financial stability, but with women before dating. But before we get into the episode, I'd like to thank this season's sponsor, Knox Brand Media, the go-to brand coach for 6 and 7-figure millennial entrepreneurs. Please be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give me a 5-star rating if you think this content is 5-star worthy. And as usual, I have some free resources to offer you if you listen through to the end of the episode and in the show notes. So let's get started. Zakia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So I already told our listeners that you and I have been talking off screen about some of the traditional roles and responsibilities that we see with men on the dating scene, but not really a conversation around women in regards to finances on the dating scene. So Zakia, can you
Mhm.
give us some insight of what has your story been around being financially stable as a woman in the dating scene?
Okay, so I'll start off by saying I'm 35, so I'm in my mid 30s. I recently, about a year and a half ago, moved to another city to gain some independence. I have what we call helicopter parents. So I haven't always been financially independent, or I've been financially irresponsible. I've been financially independent, but like irresponsible in the past. So I used the time that I moved out here to another city, to Dallas, to gain some independence and stop dating. In that process, I stopped dating so that I could, get my finances together, credit, savings, and all of those things. And people kind of think it's weird that I chose to do that, because when you're dating, they think the men are supposed to pay for everything. And I don't think necessarily that's the reason I chose to get my finances together, is because I want to pay for dates or anything. I feel like I should focus on finances before I focus on a relationship, because finances can stress you out, can cause you to become someone else. And you don't want to bring someone else into it, is the reason I did it. But nobody ever talks about women being financially independent while dating or before dating.
Yes, I'm so glad that you brought up this topic. I actually posted a reel about it recently. Of course, it was the reverse conversation. There was a
Hmm.
gentleman who asked a woman on a date. He told her he could not afford to go on a date, and so he wanted to do a paid date, a walk through the park. And she asked me whether or not she should go on the date. And I'll tell you, I told her no. And then I continued to say, no one, man or woman, should be
Mm.
on the dating scene looking for a long-term committed relationship that potentially leads to marriage if they are not financially sound, men
Yeah.
or women. And I'll tell you why. Obvious reasons are the men, right? We from the beginning of time, men have been the providers. The provision could have been, a fur off of a I don't know, a bear that they drag through to the cave, right? That's the provision. But it's been
Yeah.
always that men have brought home the bacon, been the
Hmm.
either the sole providers or the majority. And even though we're living in a society right now where men and women are very close to earning, an equal wage, and in some instances where wives and girlfriends are out earning their partners, it's still a responsibility of men
Right.
of masculinity. Men have been socialized that is their responsibility in the world, is to provide financially. So that's a conversation we've all had. We still have. It's kind of ad nauseum. But for
Right.
women, it is important that women are financially sound, and potentially for different reasons, right? Because even
Mhm.
if a woman is in a relationship with a gentleman who's a provider, I would think that it's actually quite scary to solely rely on one person. Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. Of course, you're familiar with me. My name is Alison, certified dating and relationship coach, and I'm sure you've seen all of my testimonials, the engagements and the weddings and the babies, and I help my clients to bring those relationship goals to fruition through my 6-month coaching program, The Partner You Deserve. In that program, I teach my clients how to navigate dating both online and offline, and how to work on becoming the best versions of themselves for themselves, but also so that they can energetically attract the partner that they claim that they deserve. I want you to think about the struggles you've had of dating in the past. I want you to think about when you were 30, 35, 40, 45, and the fact that you aren't where you want to be. At some point, something has to change. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the link below, and you are going to book a consultation call so the both of us can discuss how I can help you to get the rings and tings. And then if that
Mm-hmm.
person does, and not that you should be building relationships based on what ifs, but if this person
Mm-hmm.
does decide that they're not happy and they want to move on, then what? Then you're homeless? Then you have no other options. You have no other recourse than to potentially move back home or move in with a friend. You don't ever want to put all of your eggs in one basket. And so
Right.
that's one reason for women that they definitely want to make sure that they're financially sound before they end up relying on someone who could decide at any given moment that they're going to move on. And then let's get to the practical. I think more practical than anything, we live in a society, in a capitalistic society, where both incomes are a necessity for comfort. We may be able to
Yeah.
get by on one income, but a
Yeah.
necessity for comfort. I don't want to have to ask my husband, babe, can I have some money to get my hair done? I don't want to have
Right.
to say we can't go on any vacations this year because all he's able to do is the bare necessities. And so if we want to enjoy life, whatever enjoy might look like, going to
Right.
parties, traveling, shopping, spending quality time with friends, whatever that looks like, both incomes will put us in a position where we can kind of enjoy the creature comforts as well as build on our wealth, potentially
Mm-hmm.
investing in property and stocks and things like that. So I'm so glad that you brought up this topic of what role or responsibility do women have, and should they be financially sound? And I agree with you. Women should be financially sound as they enter the dating scene, because then it just makes your life more safe and more enjoyable as you continue to build with your partner. I'd also like to add, it shouldn't be only finances. We should be emotionally sound. We should be
Mm-hmm.
as healthy as possible. Like, all of
Mm-hmm.
these things should be in alignment before we get into the scene. And I have to tell you, with the reel that I posted, a lot of the gentlemen were upset with my response. Oh, you're going to say she shouldn't go on a date, and you see what women are saying. I said, you're not listening. I said, people should be
Mm-hmm.
sound, financially sound. They should be as healthy as possible, emotionally, physically, before getting into the scene. Dating is not a requirement. You can
No.
put it on pause,
Yeah.
and you can decide that you want to work on these things before positioning yourself on the scene. And it's a competition.
It
So
is.
if you're competing and you want to get the best of the best, then you also have to present as the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
So Zakia, for you, I know that you said that, the helicopter parents and moving on your own and being more financially responsible. Are you
Mm-hmm.
seeing, or have you gotten back into the dating scene? Let's start with that. Have you gotten back into the dating scene after doing this work?
No, I think I'm enjoying my alone time right now, because I had a roommate when I first moved here. And so now I'm just getting my own place. So that's another level of
Yes.
independence that I'm gaining. I haven't lived alone in 10 years. So this is the first time in 10 years that I've not had a roommate or had a housemate. So I'm like, I really love it here. Like, I love decorating my own space, coming home and listening to my music and just vibing, and like, so I want to enjoy this for now. Like, I don't want to have to, and I'm working a lot still. So I don't want to be too busy to be available for
Yes.
dating. I had a client actually tell me, "You're always so busy. It's hard to get an appointment with you, and it's annoying." I was like, I imagine that's how a guy would feel too, if he's always trying to ask me out and I can't, and I'm busy and I'm working. And so I don't think my time right now is available to start dating. So I'm
Is
still
there
taking a
going
little.
I'm sorry, is there going to be a shift though? Because we do need to prioritize it. And I don't, do you desire children? Because you're 35.
I go back and forth on that. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I being a black woman in America, I'm deathly afraid of raising a child here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go back and forth on it. Like if I met the guy of my dreams and he wanted a child, of course I would want to give him a child. I don't even know if I can have children. I don't know, never tried.
Mm.
But if I do decide to do that, I really don't want to have children here in the US. I would rather raise my children outside of the US. And so that's a tough one for me. I go back and forth on that. So I don't know, but will dating be back? Yes, definitely. I enjoy male companionship. I absolutely enjoy male companionship. So do I want to start? Yes, but I want to take my time. I don't want to rush into anything. I don't want to mess anybody up.
Mm-hmm.
I find that a lot of the guys I date are infatuated with me in the way I think, in the way, but they're not in love with me like as a person. They're
Mm-hmm.
just like my mind. It's like, ooh, I like the way you think. I like the things you do. But then me as a person, they don't. It kind of fades away. So I want to take my time. I don't want to jump into anything. I want to make sure, I'm loving on me first and then do it. And like you said, health. My health is definitely not where I want it to be. I just started working out again. So there's some things I want to work on before I jump back into dating.
Understood. Understood. But just make sure that we're not hiding behind those things, right? So like hiding behind work, piling on the work so that it's not me. I would date. I just don't have time. Like you also have to,
Yeah.
when you decide to do so, you have to make the time. It has to be a priority for you.
Okay.
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 So Zakia, do you have
Okay.
any questions before we wrap up?
I like what you said about the like it's a necessity to have two incomes now. And that's another thing. Like I feel like sometimes I can't stop working so much because it is so expensive to live now. And I'm like, I was talking to a coworker and I was like, we're not supposed to do this alone. Like, we're not supposed to be
You're
in this
not.
alone. And so I do want to start dating. So again, on the fence, I'm like, I do want to start dating so that I could get there to where I have a partnership, and I have someone who we can support each other. But then again, I want to have like so much together. And I know I don't have to be perfect per se, but I don't want to come with I don't want to come with any burdens or any baggage. You know what I mean? So
Yes, absolutely. Hello, beautiful people. You know, I always say that faith without works is dead. So let's put in some work so that you can be found by the partner that you deserve. If you're not ready for full on coaching yet, then it's time for you to join the Future Wives Club. It is a private community where I teach how to navigate dating successfully in 2023 and beyond. What does it offer? We have 120 plus hours of past Q&As, all of my past trainings and ebooks. We have a monthly insight session, pop-up mini trainings. I check in with you twice a week to make sure that you're staying accountable and you're going outside so that you can position yourself to be found by the partner that you deserve. We have Wifey Wednesdays where I send you morning affirmations. There's discounts off of coaching and masterclasses. And lastly, and most importantly, we are building a community of sisterhood of like-minded women who have the same goals and aspirations as you do. So what I need you to do is click below, join us in the Future Wives Club. It costs less than your daily cup of coffee. Take action. That's the only way that you're going to see the difference that you desire. So the burdens and the baggage, that's something that would be processed with therapy. That has nothing to do with you getting back on the scene in
mhm.
terms of getting into that relationship. So if you feel like you have baggage, then that's something that you should be working with someone through so that you can
Mhm.
process that. But that doesn't mean that you can't do both at the same time. So a lot of people have
Mm.
this idea of kind of like, I have to lose 25 pounds before I can go on the date. No, you need to be in the gym and doing the work that you want to do right? And what happens is there's a phrase they say you don't wait on your weight, right? Don't wait on it because you're going to keep pushing it back. What you do is I'm dedicated to this process of healing through therapy. I'm dedicated to this process of losing the weight. I'm dedicated to this process of making more money, whatever it is, and I'm going to do both. And you are multifaceted and you can handle both. You get a planner, you get a schedule, and you etch out what your day looks like, even if it means hitting the gym on your lunch break, even if it means like getting a therapy session on your lunch break. But you have to prioritize these things. And if you keep thinking, I got to do a year of therapy and let go of some of the hurt that I experienced when I was teased, when I was 13, before I can date. Now it's a year later. And I can tell you it doesn't get easier as you get older. I'm going to say it straight out. Also with the children, if you need to have some sessions with a therapist to work it out, to organize your thoughts and your beliefs, you need to get that out too, because the people that you date are probably going to have a very clear answer as to what they want. And so if you're coming in indecisive, that's going to put you in a position where they may not want to continue to see you. If they're very clear that they don't want children or they don't want any more children, and you're like, I'm not sure, well, then she could change her mind any moment. Should I invest in her? If it's, I absolutely want children or I want more children, and she says she's not sure, but I know what I want, should I invest in her? So that is something that you need to make clear. If it's, I want children, if I can have them, I want them, but I'm confident I don't want to raise them here, then that's what it is. And you're going to stick to your guns on that, but it needs to be clear. Or it's, I don't want them, and if you have children, that's okay with you, okay with me. If you don't have them, that's okay with me. Whatever it is, you got to be clear on that, because that's one of the deciding factors of whether or not I should even take this girl on a date. That should be a deciding factor for you, if whether or not you should even go on a date with a guy. Just like if marriage is key to you. If a gentleman says, I've been married once, I don't want to do it again, and you require it, you should not even be talking on the phone with this guy. Like there are some things that there's no moving. Well, you know, I'm a believer in Christ, but I haven't been to church in a couple of years. You could go back, right? But whether or not you want children or not, whether or not you want marriage or not, those are things that we can't even waste our time to converse with people who aren't in alignment in those areas.
Ooh, you just made me realize I thought I was being more definitive on things and decisive, and you just made me realize I have not been as decisive as I thought I was becoming. But hey, it's not overnight, so
Yeah, it's not overnight. It's not overnight. And again, do not drown yourself in your work, because we're notorious for that, right? Women are notorious for that. And then when we look up, we're 38, and we look up and we're 42. And then it's like, well, I've enjoyed being alone for some time. Do I really want to risk disrupting this piece? Or I don't know how to navigate dating these days. Things have changed. Things have changed drastically in the last 5 years on the dating scene. And so I understand you're focused on work. I understand you're focused on, you know, your financial health and getting things in order and paying off some debts or whatever that looks like. But set a deadline of that. It's, I'm going to go hard for the next year. I'm paying this off. I'm taking care of this. I'm investing in that. After that, I am cutting back because I am going to blah, blah, blah. Like, just don't let it be, because if you just let it be, then you'll pay off the debts. You'll invest in the properties. You'll go on vacation. It'll be 5 years later.
it does pass by fast.
It passes by. Okay.
It does go fast. Okay.
All right, Zakia, you have been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show. And
Thank you.
if there's nothing else, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, folks. So I hope that you were able to take some jewels home with you after this episode. But one of the things that I really want to reiterate to you is getting lost in your goals. Feeling as though I have to lose this 20 pounds before I can get on the scene. Feeling as though I have to pay off all my debt before I can get back on the scene. I got to get through therapy. You start it. You start the therapy. You start the weight loss. You start the financial journey. And you date at the same time. Time is of the essence, and especially if you desire children or more children, time is even more of the essence. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be a part of the machine that pressures you as women. However, facts are facts, science is science, medicine is medicine. Time is of the essence. So what you will do is you will knock down those goals. You will set reasonable goals, and you will continue to date so that you can be found by the partner you deserve. If you need any help in that arena, what I need you to do is go to alignwithallison.com. You can check out my free resources for dating, relationships, getting over heartbreak, as well as you can book a consultation call with me to join me in my 6-month coaching program, The Partner You Deserve. So you see all the engagements and the weddings and the babies. I just came from a wedding on Friday. That's why my hair looks like this. From a client who listened to my advice, and she is now with the husband that she deserves. So I need you to take action if you need help in that area. go to alignwithallison.com. All right, folks, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you next week. Peace.